They put a big push to put diversity into the FAA's program. Then another article, the Federal Aviation Administration, this was before I got to office, recently, second term. The FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative spelled out on the agency's website. Can you imagine? These are people that are, actually their lives are shortened because of the stress that they have. Brilliant people have to be in those positions.
After the recent flux of airplane crashes, the President of the United States blamed diversity, equity, and inclusion practices. He is incompetent. He is a goof, a lunatic, and unqualified.
Regardless of whoever you like and whoever you disagree with, this particular situation, it should have been a we thing. Like, hey, we got to see what happened. We got to see what went wrong. Was it a mechanical thing? It's a human error. It's not a particular person error. It takes a whole bunch of people to mess up. But what if it was a mechanical error? I just thought that was pretty f***ed up, because when he keeps saying DEI, it's almost like saying, well, if there were white men, if we were all white, it would have been fine, white men, but the white men were pilots. The pilots were white men, but we're not blaming them. They're human beings. All the plane crashes that have happened over decades, who do we blame? I would blame white pilots, because your hiring practices didn't allow black pilots, didn't allow women, didn't allow Asian pilots, Latin pilots. So I would blame white men for all of those other crashes because of your practices in hiring different qualified people. We can do that, but that would be a horrible thing to do. But that's what you're doing.
Godfrey, one of my favorite comedians, gets serious on the matter and is clearly fed up with Trump's practices at the podium.
Do you believe that women and minority pilots are inherently less intelligent and less skilled than white male pilots?
No, I'm just saying that we should not lower the standards for them.
Okay. But there's no evidence that standards are being lowered when it comes to the airline industry.
You've repeatedly said that there's no evidence that standards are being lowered, and watch the replies showing all the evidence that it is.
Replies, though, on social media or on Twitter are not necessarily fact and evidence.
No,
that's people's opinion.
They will cite all the reply. In the replies to this, you will see how often the information is cited, showing that indeed there are significant cases where standards are lowered.
And I do hope that happens. I do hope that happens, and I look forward to it. And as you said, if you're wrong, then you're wrong, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
Yes.
Okay. So and I'm glad we're having this conversation, debating. This is what we should be doing, debating the issue. So if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and then that'll be proven in the thing, and you as well. But I just want to tell you that pilot that you talked about, in fact, was a woman pilot, landed the plane safely despite the major malfunction with the equipment. Boeing has taken responsibility for that incident, saying that it was caused by a faulty door panel. So I'm not sure what that had to do with lowering the standards for pilots when it was a faulty.
No, it's not lowering standards for pilots. It's the incentive structure. I believe at Boeing changed to include DEI as a fundamental executive incentive. But in my view, it should be purely about passenger safety.
Okay, but do you understand how by saying just that standards are being lowered, that you're implying that they're being lowered because people are less skilled and less intelligent, and you're talking about people of color and or women?
Look, I'm saying we should not lower standards.
Just incredible. Truly, truly incredible. He could try to weasel himself out of an answer, but he formed a pretzel in the process.
Even Elon Musk said, the doctors, the medical situation is getting really bad, because the DEI. So really, you mean the black doctors, a lot of the black contributions to medicine, like plasma and open heart surgery and all of the wonderful things that African Americans have contributed to medicine, that your people stole and claimed it for themselves. Lots of different people have contributed to medicine. But for you to say this DEI, which was, by the way, white women benefited the most out of DEI. white women benefited the most out of DEI. African Americans were probably, I think, last in benefiting from DEI. So all this blame of these white men constantly blaming DEI is just code word for racist bullshit.
Exactly. And that's how it should be taken time and time again when folks like Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Mark Wayne Mullen, Caroline Leavitt, and the rest of the fascists discuss this.
So, look, there's been a lot of discussion about the issues that were needed in the black community for the last years, but particularly it intensified after the George Floyd situation. And, you saw a lot of people who were just virtue signaling. They'd go on Instagram and cry, or they would, put a slogan on their jersey or write something on a basketball court. And quite frankly, that was doing more to polarize the country than it was to bring people forward. You solve problems with solutions.
In Gaza's waterfront property, it could be very valuable to, if people would focus on kind of building up livelihoods. You think about all the money that's gone into this tunnel network and into all the munitions. If that would have gone into education or innovation, what could have been done?
Speaking of nepotism, legacy admissions, DEI, and protecting the ruling class.
Because we can go in academic stats. You all are not leading in academic stats. I'm not saying there aren't brilliant white students, but a lot of you are there because of legacy. Legacy. You didn't allow anybody to do a god thing. And that's why DEI was put in place, because you just don't like people playing an even playing field. And then when you do play an even playing field, you start moving the goalposts and blaming. That's what's going on.
He's preaching here. And look no further than a guy like Jared Kushner being named an advisor to Trump's cabinet, a Middle East czar who would later enrich himself to the tune of $2 billion from the Saudis. And by the way, that's just one deal we know of, plus much more.
Do you have a plan to go visit the site or meet with any of the
I have a
first
plan
responders?
to visit, not the site, because you tell me, what's the site? The water?
Or to meet with the
Want me to go
first
swimming?
responders?
What an ass. What a blathering ball of human flesh. The inhumane approach is paramount because he simply does not care about human life. He could give a about those who died because it does not affect him.
I just think it's really low that President Trump blamed Joe Biden on this collision. I think it's just really low down for him to do that, because Trump, you fired the heads of TSA and you fired Coast Guards and several members of a key aviation safety advisory committee. So what if it was your error? What if it was your error? I'm just saying, there's going to be a lot of crazy comments and whatever, Trump supporters, blah, 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 would saying some bullshit. But this is a we thing. It's a human thing. And people's lives have been lost, and you're pointing fingers at DEI. Come on, man. It's a shame. And you just started off this year on some real low down shit. And I think that we're in big trouble with these kind of things that you're saying.
He's not wrong here, but this is how fascists work. We must keep our eye on the ball. We must organize. We must mobilize. For more on Godfrey, check out his YouTube channel. The URL is youtube.com/@GodfreyComic. His Facebook, if you wish to hop on Zuck's platform, we'll leave the link in the description box below, and TikTok under the username Godfrey Podcast. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.